Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Elevate with Erica. I'm your host, Erica. I've been in some trainings lately to help grow my online business, and it's had me reflecting on who I seek to help with my message, my business, my story, my offerings. And I think we've all probably at some point been able to rattle off plenty of things that we don't like about ourselves, right? But there is something about me that I love. I love that I don't hide my struggles. No, I'm not talking about the struggle that I faced last weekend when I opened the oven naked because I forgot to put the bread in before I hopped in the shower. I shared a PSA to all of my followers never to do that. And I got some responses back that it was too much. So that's when I knew it was perfect because I am a little too much. But in all seriousness, no, I'm not talking about those struggles. I'm talking about my honesty in my struggles in motherhood, in my first marriage that didn't work out, in my journey from the corporate world to solopreneur, in my struggles with post-marital debt and being financially independent, building my business, in having a less than perfect marriage today. I could just go on and on, right? There just isn't much that's off limits for me unless it involves like airing another family member's business, which isn't my place to do, right? So I love my honesty. I love that I'm willing to be vulnerable. And I am that way because I have felt many times in my life, especially prior to the age of 20, where I felt alone and misunderstood and like something was wrong with me because everyone else was seemingly perfect. And it's a miserable feeling. And if being honest can make someone else not feel alone in their times of struggle, it's worth it. Even if it brings on some "you're too much" responses, or if I'm the topic of someone else's gossip that week. You know, my mom always said, don't give them things to talk about. But after being sort of the quiet observer type growing up, I realized that people talk about people no matter what. You have to live in your truth and accept that what people think about you is none of your business. So I want to take you on a little journey today of my highlight struggles. And yes, I just said highlight struggles. Have you ever heard those two words together? And that is exactly my point today. Highlights of our life aren't just what you would think, the happiest moments. Some of the highlights of my life were struggles that led to the biggest plot twists and most amazing redirections. And today I want to take you on a journey through my own personal transformation and share some key lessons, takeaways for you that I've learned along the way, because sometimes our stories have the power to ignite a spark within someone else's soul. And I hope that's what it does for you today. So let's dive in. Motherhood. It is the most rewarding and challenging job in the world, isn't it? The newborn phase was honestly the hardest for me, from the lack of sleep to the struggles of breastfeeding. It can feel very overwhelming at times. And it's a stage that can feel really lonely because we see people's highlight reels on social media and maybe even in person where they just look amazing out and about after baby, traveling all over with a newborn, right? Just seemingly having added this little human into their life seamlessly. And there I was feeling like I must be a horrible mother because I'm not enjoying this stage at all. And I don't want to take my baby out of the house until it can walk. If that's you, I've been there. Trust me. But I want you to know that you are not alone. While juggling the demands of motherhood, I also found myself going to college at night while working full time during the day, just trying to hold on to that part of me that wanted to be successful and financially independent, right? This just powerful businesswoman. And it was tough balancing assignments and exams and diaper changes and bleeding nipples. It often felt like an uphill battle. And on top of that, before my second child had even turned one, I was going through a divorce from my best friend, leaving my home that I loved, carrying the full weight of debt from a life we had built together, and moving back in with my parents with two kids. It was a heart-wrenching experience. And I still get choked up every time I talk about it. It's one that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. But it's important to remember that even in our darkest moments, there is always a flicker of hope. During this time, I found myself struggling with debt and trying to navigate the financial challenges on my own. And it was overwhelming. And I felt like I was drowning every single day of life. But guess what? I didn't give up. I pushed through. And today I stand on the other side of that struggle, stronger and more resilient than ever. And that brings me to the next chapter of my journey, the decision to quit my 9-to-5 job and build my own business from home. And let me tell you, taking that leap of faith was terrifying. The fear of failure loomed over me, and I had no support from those around me. But I knew deep down that this was my true calling, and I couldn't let fear hold me back. As a little girl, I wasn't playing with dolls. I was pretending to run businesses in my bedroom. So I embraced my passion and my dreams and embarked on the entrepreneurial journey. And you know what? It hasn't been easy. It sounds way cooler. It's really tough. Building a business from scratch takes dedication and perseverance and an unbelievable amount of grit. But here's the thing, my friends. When we share our struggles, when we lay our vulnerabilities bare, we create a ripple effect. By being honest about our challenges, we give others permission to do the same. And we create a safe space where others can find solace and strength, knowing that they're not alone in their struggles, because let's face it, we're all human. And we all have battles to fight. So I encourage each and every one of you to embrace your journey, no matter how difficult it may seem. Be unapologetically honest about your struggles, because it's through sharing our stories that we can uplift, inspire, and empower one another. And I hope you guys get that vibe when you're in any of my spaces, whether it's on my Instagram page or listening to my podcast or the clients in my accountability groups. I hope you feel that sense of a safe space where you can find solace and strength and know you're not alone in your struggles. In the personal development book I'm reading right now, I'll link it in the show notes, The Perfection Detox by Petra Kolber. If you struggle with showing up authentically for fear of letting others see that you're not perfect, then you should definitely grab this book. But in the section that I read this morning, it talked about shadow stories. Within every one of us is a shadow story or two. And these are stories that are in the gap between who we are and who we pretend to be. When we bring these shadows to the surface and shine a light on them, we begin the healing process for ourselves, and we inspire someone else to do the same. Remember, your story has the power to be someone else's survival guide. A few years ago, June of 2020, I was lost. I had no clue who I was or what I wanted in life. I just knew I didn't want what I had. I knew I didn't want the reality that I was living at that time. And I felt like a ship aimlessly floating in a vast ocean. But little did I know that my journey of self-discovery would lead me to a place of strength and empowerment and a burning desire to help others find their own way. It all started with a decision. I made a commitment to myself that I would no longer settle for a life that didn't align with my values and dreams. And I embarked on a journey of self-exploration and self-love, and it was far from easy. But let me tell you, the rewards were beyond anything I could have imagined. And I'm going to share with you a few tips that not only got me through the hard times in my life, but also allow me to share them so openly. Tip number 1, embrace your journey. Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. We all face struggles and setbacks and moments of doubt, but it's in those moments that we have an opportunity to rise. So don't shy away from your challenges, your highlight struggles. Embrace them as stepping stones toward growth. Tip number 2, surround yourself with positive influences. I started seeking out mentors, books, communities that uplifted and inspired me. It's crucial to have a support system that believes in you and pushes you to become the best version of yourself. When I didn't have it immediately around me, I sought after it. And remember, you can be that positive influence for someone else too, just by sharing your highlight struggles. Even if you're not through them yet, share how you're pushing through them. Now let's talk about self-love. This journey to embracing our ups and downs is incomplete without learning to love and accept ourselves fully. So tip number 3, practice self-care. Prioritize your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Take time each day to do something that nourishes your soul, whether it's reading, meditating, or enjoying a bubble bath. You guys know I'm a little partial to exercise because of my line of work. Filling your free time with scrolling social media. As much as I love social media and it's where I run my business, it's not soul replenishing, right? Sometimes it's downright exhausting. Set an appointment if you have to on your phone, like you would for a doctor's visit, that goes off and says, time for 30 minutes of self-care, and put down all your electronics and take care of you. Maybe start out with just trying this 1 day a week and bump up to 3 and bump up to more. Tip number 4, embrace authenticity. Be unapologetically you. When we let go of the need to please others and start living in alignment with our true selves, that's where the magic happens. Their opinions are none of your business. Their opinions are based on their life experiences, not yours, so don't own them. Don't let fear of what they will think be a factor in how you live your life today. Remember that you have a unique voice and story that can inspire and uplift others. Everybody won't understand it, and they don't need to. Finally, let's discuss finding your purpose. It's something many of us strive for, yet it can feel sort of elusive at times. Tip number 5, listen to your intuition. Deep down, we all have a calling. I truly believe that. A purpose that's waiting to be discovered. Trust that inner voice, guiding you towards your passion and purpose. And when you find it, chase it with all of your heart. It doesn't matter how long it will take to see it through. 1 second more of doing what doesn't feel aligned with you anymore is wasting more time than working towards what will. Sometimes you need to slow down, escape the chaos in order to hear that calling. Don't be so busy living a life that you don't want that you can't hear your inner voice trying to redirect you towards your purpose. Because social media has us trying to rush success and rush finding our purpose, right? Because people only show once they've already made it. They don't show the struggle it took to get there. So we think it happens like that, and it doesn't. It begins with recognizing where you are today and recognizing that it isn't where you want to be in whatever area of your life, and then taking time to figure out what you do want. Trying different things if you have to until you uncover where your passion lies. It's so worth it. So friends, as we wrap up this episode, I want to thank you for joining me on this vulnerable journey. I wish I could share with you all of the parts of my story in great detail. And if we were to ever meet face to face, or if you want to drop me a DM because you connect with a certain part, I'm more than willing to go into more detail about all of my struggles with you. I hope you find inspiration in my story and feel encouraged to share your own. Remember to stay true to yourself, because your power lies within your story. Your journey, with all of its ups and downs, can be a beacon of hope and inspiration for someone else who may be struggling in the darkness. Share your triumphs, share your lessons and tips, and help others find their own light so that they can persevere and live their purpose-driven life. It's a gift that we all have the ability to give one another. Remember, you are capable of incredible things, and your story can be someone else's survival guide. Thank you so much for joining me today on Elevate with Erica. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'll drop the link in the show notes for more inspiration and updates. Subscribe to my show on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you're tuning in on. And don't forget to share this podcast with your loved ones too. Together, we can create a ripple effect of love and empowerment. Keep shining your beautiful light and living authentically. Until next episode, friends. E.
You guys, I want to share with you my favorite place to shop online. Zulily offers daily deals on thousands of items from up-and-coming brands and household names. You'll find a store full of new things every day, and you'll always get great value and free shipping on orders of $89 or more. Explore toys, clothing, and smart home finds, plus top beauty and wellness trends. Have fun shopping without breaking the bank or leaving your house. Save on clothes, toys, and home decor. New deals every day. That's my favorite part. New shops pop up every single day. Check the link in my show notes to check out Zulily today. Sorry for your new addiction. Not sorry about all the money you'll save shopping on Zulily.